Hello everyone, welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. I sincerely hope everybody is doing amazingly well today. This will be a timeless reading. However, today is the full moon in our beautiful sign of Leo, of confidence and of beauty. So we're going to use this energy to create some beautiful messages. We're going to get you some messages from Spirit. And what do you need to know right now? What do you need to know right now? Messages of love, loving messages from Spirit, exactly what you need to know right now, what they want to tell you. So if you are brand new here, welcome, welcome. And if you are returning, obviously, welcome to one and all. So happy to have you here today. So we're going to go right into the reading. We have let's see, we have our Unicorn Tarot here, and I have a myriad of different oracle cards on the side, just kind of going with the flow with this one, see where Spirit guides us, and let's get you some messages. So first of all, I'd like to take just a second here, remind you that, or if you're brand new, not remind you, let you know that we always have a healing candle here. I use this healing oil that I made under the full moon with an eclipse last year. So if there's, these sessions can be used for healing or activation, for releasing or cutting any cords you no longer need, any way that you want to use it. So that goes for every single pile. So also what we want to do, I want to take just a minute, take a really, really deep breath and work with the energy of the full moon again, even though whenever you come across this beautiful reading, it'll be timeless. This really doesn't matter, but call on this beautiful full moon in Leo. And we're just going to put out some beautiful energy of hope and gorgeousness for you, and just put out the intention that everything that you want will come back to you in very, very powerful ways. And then we're going to set that intention for this reading. We're going to set that intention for your life. So we're sending out some beautiful energy for you, some healing energy for you. If you've been feeling a little lost or confused or not exactly yourself recently, we're wrapping you up in love right now. So let's just go ahead and send out that energy to you. Or if you're dealing with a physical, mental issue, anything that you need extra healing and extra love energy around, we're sending that to you right now. So we have pile 1, 2, and 3. We're just going to leave the piles here and take as much time as you need. We're hoping that the energy that we're sending to you will ground you into alignment into this reading and prepare you for choosing one of these decks, or not decks, one of these piles. But if you need to go ahead, of course, and pause the video, whatever you need to do to get your energy in line with this reading, it'll be much more useful for you, then go ahead and do that. The timestamps are always down below. So let's move right in. I'm going to move pile 2 and pile 3 out of the way. So if you chose pile 1, you have messages from Spirit, and what they want you to know is the King of Wands, the King of Rods, oh, and the Knight of Cups. These are absolutely beautiful. Hopefully you can see these. These are in focus. So what they want you to know, first of all, if you notice, we have the blue hue behind here, and we have sort of the phoenix type sort of fiery energy coming up. They want you to know that all the work that you've been doing to balance and to heal and to bring out the old and to release it once and for all, so it no longer is a thread within your life. You've come to this new plateau, and they're really, really, really proud of you. So 2 thumbs up there. And also they want you to know that you have all of the traits that you've been given. Now, these are always general readings, so even within the reading, please take what resonates, and if it doesn't, if certain aspects of the reading don't really sit with you, then that's fine. Just wait until other information comes in. So this may only be for some of you, but They're saying for those of you who have been feeling a little bit confused about how to use your emotionality, or feeling as if you're too sensitive for this world in a very specific way, they want you to know that you're coming into a new way of using your power and seeing. And I know people say this all the time, and I'm extremely sensitive, like a highly sensitive person. And and you read all these books, and you see people in seminars, and they say, you can use that as a superpower. I've said that too, and of course it is. But sometimes you have those days where it doesn't feel like a superpower at all. And for those of you who have been in those moments where it's not feeling like a superpower at all, and you've been feeling a little lost, you've been feeling as if, I wonder when this is going to shift and I'm going to see this as a superpower. Or if you're just having an off day, if you're doubting in any way that the way in which you are emotional in this world, you'll ever be able to fit in. They're letting you know that they're literally putting a blanket of love around you, and just ground into your energy. And they're assuring you that you are coming into a new plateau where you will really be able to understand who you are, how your emotionality works, the mechanics of it, and how it can be applied so you can physically see it as a superpower. And they want to say thank you for staying in this world. They want to say thank you for being here and going through all those trials and tribulations. It was not a small thing. They also want to thank you for agreeing to come down at this earth at this particular time. Regardless of when you see this, it's no secret that we've come out of 2020 not unscathed in many ways. There's been a lot of chaos and a lot of stuff that's going on. So many things are shifting in the world. We don't really need to go into it further than that. And it's a great time of transformation, but no time of intense transformation like this, it always precedes some kind of intense chaos. So being able to ride out the wave and being able to say that, I want to come down at this time and I want to be here for that, and having the strength. They want to remind you that you have been preparing for this for many, many lifetimes. You knew that this would happen in this lifetime. You were always strong enough to do it. If there's any doubts whatsoever, they want to hold you in the light and let you know that you have exactly the right attributes to not only make it through, but to thrive in this world. So they just want you to have a little bit of faith, but they totally understand that sometimes there just isn't enough energy, to have faith. Sometimes you just have one of those days where it's just there's sadness, So if you picked pile one and that's where you've been recently, we want to remind you this too shall pass. Please honor where you are. Take as much time, individual time, that you need for yourself, and honor where you are. A lot of you in the past have gone through these phases where you've had these hopelessness before, but you've made yourself busy and you've worked through them one way or another. You're being asked not to do that right now, which is a very brave thing, to actually sort of integrate. And the way in which you integrate is to hold space and have profound acceptance for where you are right now, without the notion of trying to quote unquote fix it, or to make it better, or even to get to the root of what's going on. The one thing that we can say about the way in which you've been healing, you've been getting to the root of everything. And we've been saying this for the last couple of months, if you've been with me, or if you decide to go back and click on other videos by Unicorn Light Tarot. Don't go down the rabbit hole of feeling as though there's more work to be done. There's more work to be done. Now, we're not going to stop you doing it. Not at all. We're never going to stop you doing anything, but it's not really necessary. The work has been done. If anything, there's just a few more aha moments and coming in, and a little bit more releasing for you to come into who you are. But there's not a lot of that real grudge work to be done. You've already done that. So, they're asking you to hold space and accept exactly where you are and really allow yourself to be pile one. You have an incredible amount of strength, and you've always used that strength out in the world to survive or to help others. And you're being asked to use that strength to simply be where you are and absolutely allow yourself to be exactly where you are. You've not always been in a position to be able to do that. People have relied on you. You've relied on you in a way. Some of you may have even been frightened because you sense that you have an inordinate amount of power and strength, but you also realize that there's things that you've needed to deal with, and you've wanted to wait for the right time to open up that Pandora's box. Now again, you've done that and you've healed incrementally. So for those of you who are feeling as though I should be somewhere else right now, I should be a little bit further along, they also want to remind you that the way in which you healed baby steps incrementally was exactly right for you. That's exactly what you needed to do. Your instincts have always been absolutely correct all the way through. So, again, for some of you who were doubting if you've done things right, if you took too long here, there, and everywhere, they want to remind you that you did absolutely everything right. In many ways, you've done this slow, steady healing. Which means that you're exact about the truth. You can sense and see and feel the truth in people when they say something versus what their body or their mind or their soul is actually telling you. You've not caught corners. You've not like, and if you've done this, we're just using it as an example. You've not gone and taken like a 3-day course to release your childhood trauma and then it's done. Now, if you've done that, that's wonderful. That's probably just the beginning. But and if it all worked in that 3 days that weekend, that's wonderful. You were obviously working on it beforehand. You just needed that workshop in order to get it all out. But whatever we're saying right now is a little bit long-winded, but you are absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, you've done things to the core. You've taken things slowly. You've not been rushed in the process of healing. So it may seem for some of you that you're like, what's the next step? Or I don't know why I'm still going through this, or I don't know why I'm not further along, or I do know why because I've taken so long to do this, that, and the other. We want to remind you that you instinctively knew to take things slower, and this is something that you wanted to do because there was no rushing through this. And also, at the end of the day, it was important for you to do it that way because your connection to people, your connection to people's souls, your connection to the truth, your connection to life itself would be profoundly bigger and absolutely root you into the world in a connection form, by taking baby steps and doing things the way that you did things. So they want you to know that no matter how you're feeling, if something's coming up for you, you feel that for some people things are coming up for you. It could be physical stuff. It's the end sort of at the era of healing. They want you to really take those steps to accept exactly where you are and even thank your mind and body for everything that they've shown you, and keep everything within, insofar as like this idea that, that we're healing or we need to be healed. Understand yourself as being whole already. And sometimes in order to heal we need to release certain energies, and then our body can perform at a function that's a little bit higher than it was before. But there's nothing instinctively for it to heal. They want you to tweak your perception of what it is you need to release in the mental form in order for you to be able to accept yourself exactly where you are, and particularly your emotionality, which really is a superpower, power one. For those of you who are struggling with that a little bit, for those of you who are feeling a little bit of that darkness, now you may sense that it's not like the darkness that you had before. It's not this encompassing sort of blanket, where you didn't feel like you could get out on the other side of it. It's not that, but it's just this sort of sadness. For some of you it's grief. Again, accept exactly where you are and just release it in its own time. This is the last part of what you need to go through in order to really understand exactly who you are, and exactly who you are is exactly who you are in that moment, with profound acceptance. But they want to remind you that you have risen like the phoenix. I think the last reading that we had, I can't remember which pile it was, but there was a lot of sort of phoenix rising from the flames. And, even though these are general readings, and each pile is slightly different, there's always a thread, or especially in the last 3 or 4 months, there's always a thread. And these are timeless readings, but we are, of course, picking up and working with spirit, and there's collective energies that are going on throughout the world globally. And that's, the energies that we're dealing with too. So there's been a lot of the rising from the flames, rising from the fire, higher, allowing yourself to be in that deep space of healing with profound acceptance. And whereas we said before, to reiterate, you didn't really have this time, you moved through this, or you worked with healing in a very specific way. You were sort of methodical about it, and move it, and really, really to the detail. I mean, that's why we said baby steps for you, because what you did was deep, deep, deep healing. Um, so we're going to ask you not to compare yourself at all with the external world. That will not at all help you right now. And it's just not necessary, because where you're moving to now is very much more ethereal, and working sort of within your own realm on earth, if that makes any sense. So there's really no point in any way, shape, or form to perform the function of trying to fit in into a world that's already crumbling, and into a world that you never truly fully felt that you were there to support in any way. The world that's coming in right now is the world that you were born into to support. So there was a divine timing, an aspect of divine timing, a timeline for you, which you are now stepped into and moving into. So of course there's a little bit of confusion. Nothing, for many of you, nothing looks the same, nothing feels the same. Now for some of you, there could be this great elation, which is wonderful, waking up and kind of feeling as though you're finally getting it, right? Because all these pieces are coming together. And that's wonderful too. But if that sadness and grief comes in, please allow it. There, you're just really being asked to accept exactly where you are. And this is the last form of healing. You've really approached life. You've approached like almost like everything's down on a list. I'm going to work on this now. Now I'm going to work on this. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to do that. And that's absolutely wonderful. We want to remind you that you're not being tested. You're not at school. This is about you really creating your own sense of self, your own freedom, being able to move spherically in any way that you want, surrendering to the universe, and having that really easy, beautiful life where you just manifest and it comes in. And this is something that you can do. You have a lot of power in order for you to be able to do this. For those of you who have tested the universe, you actually, and there's nothing wrong with doing this, it could be a really good thing for you to do. If you prepare your mind space for this, you can ask for the universe. You can go pretty small, you can go medium, you can go big if you want to. And working with the universe, where you surrender into it and you ask the universe to either give you a sign or bring something that you're asking for to you, you will find that it will absolutely happen. And in the past, it has absolutely happened. Now, sometimes it's gone the other way. You've asked for certain things, you didn't really want them, and you also received them. But you have this unique, it can be worked on, but yours is innate. You were born with it. You are able to see what it is that you want. You're able to bring it to you. You have this vision. You have vision. So for those of you, your next step is to figure out that vision and how to work with it. You've been able to work with it various different degrees in your life. You're actually being asked to rely on it now and move forward and have this flexibility. We keep saying control versus alignment. Be in alignment with your soul. Have this flexibility in your life where you can create the life that you want. And for this to happen, your foundation of acceptance needs to be there. So that's exactly what you're being asked to do. That's exactly where you are. This is a new thing for you because, like we said, you're always working on stuff methodically, working through things, almost ticking things off a list, and that's how you've approached a lot of things. But there is an aspect of your personality that's insanely magical, and also very free. And that's an aspect of your personality too. You're kind of up for anything, and you can go either way, and you're open to many different ways. Some of you could be accused of having a problem with commitment per se, because if you choose one thing, it means that you're saying no to everything else, and that's something that you've always wanted to stay open. So for some of you, again, this is a general reading, but for some of you, it could have been very confusing for you to choose one thing because you were saying no to something else. So your sense of commitment from other people, from the external world, from people around you, you could have been known for not committing. But the truth is, you do commit, and when you do commit, You don't commit to many things, but when you commit wholly and completely, absolutely. But you do like to leave your options open. So you do have this aspect of your personality, which is absolutely gorgeous. Now we're asking you to integrate that aspect of your personality completely and totally and utterly, so you can live from that life, and have this new way of being in the world, which creates this excuse me, this stability in this really beautiful way, this gorgeous stability. But at the same time, it's this openness, it's this flexibility, it's the surrendering process. And in that way, and as you open up to that life, your emotionality, being seen as a superhuman, your creativity, insanely creative, Palwan, and your vision, which you were born into. Again, you can take courses on this and they absolutely work and they're wonderful. Anybody can be taught to do this. It's a process, but you were innately born with it. So coupling, bringing all that into this trifecta, whereby you have this really firm foundation of who you are, you can move forward in a brand new way. So accept and love exactly where you are. Again, this too shall pass, but it's this primary understanding of just being at peace with every aspect of you. So if that foundation and that every aspect of you is securely formed into this foundation, then you're free to move in any movement that you want and have this sort of manifesting easy life where you're not in control, you're in alignment. And all you have to do is visualize what it is that you want and work with the universe, surrender into it, and it comes right in. Now, this might sound a little hokey to some people, but for you, you know how to do that. You really do. It's just a matter of honing in on that and making it your sort of your be-all, your go-to way of moving forward in the world. So let's see what Lord Ganesh has for you here. Yes, clear your energy. That's exactly what you're being asked to do. It's also exactly what's happening. So if anything's coming up for you right now, we're just reminding you that you're clearing your energy, but in a very specific way. You're not just clearing your energy. You're clearing your energy so you can see who it is that you are. So you can really absorb every aspect of yourself, and in there and in that moment and in that movement brings pure strength, and it also means that you can move forward in a way that denotes your own terms. You've always been working on somebody else's terms one way or another, which is really strange for you because Pawan, you fiercely independent one way or another. So yes, fiercely independent, and sort of wanting to do things your own way in many ways, but at the same time, there's always been a certain amount of compromise in order to, quote unquote, again, fit in. So never really feeling as though you were ever completely yourself at one given time. It was more likely that different people or different groups or different aspects of yourself. So that could have been a very lonely experience for you, but this is a way for you to connect to your inner being for exactly who you are and build that foundation, which really allows you to accept on all terms and not be hiding certain aspects of yourself. It also means that the strength, this will you have, this ironclad will. Some people would say, you know, for some of you, there's a stubbornness streak that goes in there, and that's the reason you needed that stubborn streak too, because otherwise people really would have taken complete advantage of you. You still might have had that. You've had to work with boundaries, but it's and you've worked through that. You've now come on the other side of that. You know how to do that, but you've learned the hard way with boundaries. But you have that stubborn streak, and that was the way that you were able to keep something for yourself. It was really important because you had that emotionality. You were, you know, highly sensitive or empathic. So you picked up so much energy around people and you found yourself in and around people and losing aspects of yourself. So that stubbornness created that a little piece of yourself in this world. So it was really important for you to keep it. Now, your stubbornness, quote unquote, will be integrated in a completely different way now. And it'll become part and aspect of your strength. So this is a new foundation for you, not just to rise up at the phoenix of the ashes. Many of you have already come out on the other side of that. This is pure acceptance. This is a new level of pure acceptance of who you are, the physical, mental aspects of who you are, and then allowing that beauty of who you are to exact itself in the world and be able to choose what it is that you want. Sometimes we've all had to deal with certain aspects in our lives that have come along that are, that's not highly wanted, and this, that, but we've had to go through it. We've had to figure it out. And we're not saying that, life won't have ups and downs, or that you'll never go through anything horrible again. No one can give you that. No one can tell you that, give you that reassurance. And if they do, they mean well. But I would take it with a pinch of salt. But at the same time, there are ways to create the life that you want. There are ways to move out of the way of obstacles. There are ways to bring something that is that you are truly ready for into your existence with ease. And that's really where you're at once you get into the notions of pure acceptance of who you are. And also, more importantly, getting into this connection. 2021 is going to be all about connections for you. Connection with love, or brand new levels of connection, and also connection with people who are around you, who see you for exactly who you are, without you having to compromise or hide in any way, shape, or form, or without being labeled stubborn or being labeled this, that, and the other. They will be able to see where that stubbornness came from, or it'll be seen as an attribute. That is positive. That's another thing. You're for those of you who are very intense, you have that intensity streak within you, and that's who you are. It won't be used against you. It won't be like, oh my God, you're too intense, or projected. People are projecting upon you because they can't deal with the intensity. You'll be luring this magical energy, bringing people in that see that as a strength, and hone in on it, and appreciate it, and actually look up to it. And this is, all the strength and all the beauty that you've often been dumbed down by others. And actually, whatever it is that you have and stand for, you should be revered for. And this is a time when you're coming into that, but you can't be revered for it until you fully accept yourself and revere from the inside out. And that's exactly where you are now. So let's do the numerology oracle here for you too. So this is a beautiful time for you. My cat's coming in. I don't know if you can see her in the back. She might stay in the back, but I could not keep them out of here today. I think it's the full moon too, and they love tarot. So I know those moved forward, but I want to make sure that these are for you. All right, she's moving to the back now. So we do have kitty energy here, whether you can see her or not. So this is a very exciting time for you, but if you need that sort of cocooning effect for a couple of days while you come through this, definitely that vision of the caterpillar coming into a butterfly, that cocooning effect. But again, you've already gone through the Phoenix Rising. This is a very deep level core healing that you're going through. And for some of you, it could be a physical healing also, whatever's manifested. Those lessons that have manifested physically in your body, they are ready to be released now. So communication, absolutely. The way in which you communicate in the world. You've always been great communicators when you've been in an instance where you're seen for who you are, and you've been given the freedom to be exactly who you are. You've been excellent communicators, but you've had to, some of you have had to, worked very hard to secure that place in order to be there. Where your guides and spirit is moving to a place where you can absolutely have this life all the time without any kind of compromises. And your sense of communication, the way in which you communicate your truth, because you've gone through healing on such, in many ways, a dramatic level, you can see the beauty in everybody, and you have that essence of truth that you can absolutely feel it. Now, ultimate truth really is everybody has their own version of truth, and everybody has their own version of reality. And the real truth is that everybody has their own version of truth, everybody has their own version of reality. But you'll be able to see through other people's versions of truth and be able to just clarify things for everybody. And, with the chaos, there's not been a lot of clarity. And that's totally fair enough, no judgment. but you have clarity. So that's more specifically, to be more clear, to bring you more clarity in this reading. You have clarity. You could always sense truth. And people's truth, even when they were telling you it was their truth, you could sense it really wasn't. But now you have this clarity of seeing through everything, and once you see things for really what they are, you have this amazing ability to create the world that you want. So your sense of communication is going to be needed in this world, and it's going to be revered in a way that it wasn't before, or not to the degree that it was before. Okay, new beginnings, absolutely. And we have that one. We also have that passion, the reminding of the fire coming out of the flames, that phoenix rising. That's the energy that you've already come in and around. Even if you're resonating with this with pile one, you might be at different levels of what that's going. So if you're in this sort of being lost, feeling as though things are shifting, you're coming into that phoenix is rising and rising out, and rising out of those flames and coming very much into your own person. If you've come out of that, and most of you have come out of that phoenix rising where you really understand and you're very much in touch with who you used to be, you're now in touch very much with who you are, but you have this element of being lost a little bit, or this sadness, this grief, and healing at the core level, and really understanding your uniqueness, your autonomy, and having that integrate as you come into this profound sense of self-acceptance, which you are now using as the foundation of who you are. That self-acceptance, once it's initiated into that foundation, it can never be moved, and then you will never seek you'll be flexible, but you'll never seek to change it or dumb yourself down in any situation, which is something that you've had to do. And your exact power will be out and be integrated fully within your soul. And from that power, you'll be able to achieve whatever it is that you'll be able to achieve. And that is very much up to you. You'll be able to do it with an incredible amount of grace and ease. So yeah, this foundation will be set, but it'll allow you this unique sense of flexibility of moving in the world that you didn't really have before. So we have, of course, regardless of when you click on this video, this reading, it is the full moon in Leo. So we do have to use the Queen of the Moon Oracle, some kind of moon oracle, because that's the energy that we are working with today. So let's finish off your reading with one more of these. Assessing, absolutely. I want one more of that. That's something we already know that you've been doing, but the assessing in a way is coming to the end. This is more of bringing everything together and solidifying. You've been assessing for a while. The void, absolutely. We've got number one here. This is a beautiful card to end with, because it reminds you that the void is actually not to be avoided. And it's number one. This is your new beginnings here. That's also number one. The void is reminding you that you're somewhere that you've never been before. So a part of you, if you're thinking, yeah, I've never been here before, but I also have this heaviness, this darkness. Sometimes we create from nothing. So it's just reminding you that the void is your best friend at this point. Allow it in. Allow that being part of your accepting process, being exactly where you are right now, without trying to laugh yourself. I mean, obviously laugh yourself out of it, but without trying to move it, physically move it out. Accept it in. Allow it to come in and integrate every part of you. I know it sounds counterproductive, but in that acceptance of exactly where you are, this new star is born within your heart. And that's where you get that freedom to know exactly who you are, crack that nut open, and really find that power inside of yourself. So let's do one more and leave you with one more here. Just feeling just this one more for you. The path, absolutely. The void is taking you to your path. There's no need to avoid it or to be afraid of it. And you're not going to stay there that long. In You know, sometimes the darkness means that there's nothing. Within nothing, we can create whatever it is that we want. For a lot of you, you've thrown out pretty much everything. It feels as though you might be starting from scratch, but everything that you have thrown out, it might feel like a lot. But those are just traits that you needed or felt like you needed in order to fit into the world. You're no longer looking to fit into the world anymore. You're looking for the world to fit into you. So therefore, all of these things that you're letting go, let them go. And if it initiates this void aspect of self, then integrate that. That's a beautiful way to be, because from there you can go in any direction. Your path here, we also have the infinity sign of 8, which means it's never ending. You're on the right path. You're already on that path. This is just a secure way to stay on there on your own terms. Create the world and the life that you've always wanted. And again, the void and new beginnings are one and one, which means they're one in the same. So that's what we have for you, pile one. Yeah, the computer ran out, the camera ran out, battery ran out in the middle. So, but hopefully the editing was rather seamless. So we hope that that resonated with you and we gave you some just a little bit of love and a little bit of beauty and a little bit of hope. And we're sending so much love and light to you, Pile One. If this resonated with you, do feel free to give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below. And of course, hit that bell button and subscribe if you want to be part of the Unicorn Light Tarot family. We have so many things going on. We have the Unicorn Therapy, which is for free. We have Oracle Intuition and the Oracle, which is also for free. Lots of beautiful readings. We've got so many great things coming up in February too, so you won't want to miss that. And you can follow us on Facebook. You can we also have the Unicorn School of Light. We have 2 beautiful courses on there right now. One of them is for free. So many different ways to work with this energy and get the love and support if you feel like you need it. Sending so much love and light to you, Pal One. You stay safe and sane and look after yourself and enjoy this process if you can. You are moving into so much light. You're already there. You just have to keep breathing until you can feel it and see it. Okay. Till we meet again. Okay, my lovely pile twos, if you chose this pile, we are getting messages from Spirit, what it is they want you to know right now. And don't forget, we have the beautiful healing candle activation ever you want to use it. So we're going to start off with our Unicorn Tarot and move into Oracle cards. I have several different sets of Oracle cards on the side. We're just going to go with it and see what extra information we need. But let's start with these. Ace of Cups, look at that. Wonderful. Absolutely gorgeous. And the Knight of Pentacles there. So the first thing that Spirit wants you to know is that you are coming into a brand new time of celebration. You're coming into a brand new time of celebrating exactly who you are without compromise. Now, what we mean by that is, and in some ways, you have a little bit of an essence of Power One in there, but different energy. If you feel called to, you can go back and listen to Part 1, but it's not really necessary. There have been so many, it's almost like you feel as though you've been a vessel and you've been carrying so much for everyone. You've been carrying people's emotions, you've been carrying the world in many ways. We can say, you know, take off that lifting, all of that pressure from your shoulders and know that, you know, you've taken on so much energy, so much emotionality and beauty, but you had to learn, Paul, too. And it was a difficult lesson to learn one way or another because you want everybody to be okay. And the way in which, and you have an enormous amount of strength, even though at times you didn't feel as though you were strong because you were taking on so much. You have this catalyst energy, and you didn't want anybody to have to go through anything horrible. So part of your process in the past, Paul, too, was to take on other people's pain. And if you could take on other people's pain, you could transform it for them and not have them go through it, because it broke your heart to see anybody go through anything. It really does. You have this gorgeous tenderness within your soul. Now, of course, that's something that you didn't need to do. And also the other side of it, and you already know this, so I don't want to harp on it, but you already know that, everybody needs to go through things in order for them to learn. You can't take people's lessons. You're depriving them of their lessons, and being able to integrate that wisdom and move forward. And you didn't do it because, you were interfering. You didn't see yourself as interfering. And really, your thought process wasn't that you was interfering, is that you just genuinely can't see anybody suffer. You have an innate problem with that. And because you have this very sort of powerful catalyst power, you're able to take on far more than you were ever asked to, and you're able to move it through the process of kinetic energy, and take on that energy and take it from them. So this could have caused strain in some of your relationships and some of your friendships growing up, or moving through your life. But this is something that you've realized now. So you coming into your sense of self, and being able to use that emotionality, really being able to see yourself as this innate, gorgeous vessel, that has a lot of emotions, that has a lot of emotionality, that really does have this empathetic, beautiful sense of self, where you can just walk into a room and gauge how everybody else is feeling, and also not feel as though they need to save the world. Pulling that energy back, learning those boundaries. Some of those situations in the past may have blown up in your face almost like fireworks, one way or another. And if you do regret any of those relationships where you really wanted to take on somebody else's pain and it's gone against you, one way, and not really against you, but it's not worked out the way that you wanted, just remind yourself that you were doing your very best. Your intentions are always completely pure. Nothing said against that. But again, excuse me, it's really about the other person having to learn that. That's part and parcel of how it is they're supposed to grow. But again, this is something that you've grown out of. This is something you've moved through. So now what's happening is the strength that you had, it's almost like you have the strength on reserve, to help the world, or to give extra energy, to the world, in order to use it as a catalyst, in order to bring them back. Now, what you've done recently, which is really beautiful, and Spirit wants to say well done, is that you've taken that energy and you've pulled it back within yourself. Now, some of it may have felt a little selfish, because you're absolutely selfless in this world. Not that you don't have an ego. We all have an ego. Very few of us are enlightened, and that's fine. We're human. We can have an ego. We can still be perfectly beautiful people with an ego. We can be aware of an ego, work with the ego. There's nothing inherently wrong with having an ego. But you're complete, even with an ego, you're completely selfless. You literally would do anything for anyone, unless they caught you at a bad moment where you're in a bad mood, in which case, you need to be left alone to get out of that bad mood yourself. So don't push your buttons when you're in that bad mood. You'll tell everybody to F off. But besides that, you're completely selfless, and it's absolutely beautiful. So it's innate for you to be able to want to work like that with the world, and want to take on that extra responsibility. But by bringing this energy back within you, you have this new lease of life. For some of you, these are general readings. Some of you are feeling as though you don't have that much energy. You're a little bit more tired than you normally are, even if you've had a full night's sleep. And some of you are going through these moments where you're really energetic and you have this incredible sort of life force. And then, your energy right now, if you can feel your energy sort of going up and down, and when it's down, it's really kind of exhausted. Your energy level is shifting at its core. So really give yourself some time just to go through this. It's shifting on a very core DNA basis, because you're no longer doing this. So the way in which your energy worked before, you have extra energy. Let's just say, piece of a pie, 70% was for you, but you always reserve 30% for helping out others and the world, like by giving them your energy. Now you have that extra 30%. It's integrating back into your soul. Now, ironically enough, and we know this, once you're fully grounded into your own energy, you can actually help people a lot more than the way in which you were doing it by trying to take on their pain. Because you can be more accessible to them. You can be much more of an example for them. The way in which you were doing it before brought you down. And many of it, as we said before, to reiterate, it really didn't work out that well. The friendships either sort of fell away, or you weren't as close as before, this, that, and the other. And some of them worked out fine insofar as they were a little bit messy, but they've come back with new soul contracts integrated back into your life, and that's totally fine. Now, none of these relationships that you lost because of this in the past, none of these people necessarily feel badly towards you, and you weren't supposed to be best friends anyway. They really did come in as a way for you to exercise what it is that you needed to learn yourself, because of course this was, you know, this was a message for you. This was a learning opportunity for you, not for them. So these learning opportunities, these are people who are innately beautiful and gorgeous, but if they're no longer in your lives, you don't have to worry about it. They were there for a particular reason. And the fact that you went back and you pulled all those reasons up and you integrated those reasons so you could become a better person. That's one thing. We can't ever say that we're never going to make a mistake again. We just can't do that. And from mistakes, we really learn who we are. But the one thing we can say about you, pal, too, which is absolutely beautiful, is that when you make a mistake, you want to make sure that you don't do it again. Now, even if it's on a personal level of, I don't want to waste my time going through this again, that's perfectly fine. But either way, whatever it is that it's coming from, wherever, whatever the reason and the root of why you don't want to make the mistake again, it really doesn't matter, but you really don't want to make the same mistake again. So as you do that, you go through the mistake, you'll pull it apart, maybe overdo it, overthink it, and try to figure out, where it came from and how you can make sure you don't do it again. So you've been going through this recently and figuring out where you put your energy, how you put your energy, how much energy you take on, why you take on that energy, should you be taking on that energy, how can you not be taking on that energy anymore. So this extra energy is being integrated into your soul. So you might be up and down a little bit with the energy. It will even out. It absolutely will even out. And in those moments of, oh my goodness, I have so much energy, I can run a mile, and I've never done that before. Those energies that energy will even out, and you'll feel like that a lot. But if you're still at that phase, even if this is resonating with you and you're still at that phase where you're up and down with the energy, just real core exercises, breathing exercises can really revitalize you and bring you back. A little bit of meditation every day, but really getting your body moving and getting out there and walking if you want to. That's wonderful. I know it's depending on where you are and what's going on right now in the world. If you don't want to walk, again, just physical exercise, and you have a core, working on your core exercises right now will really help with that firm foundation and getting you some really, there's a breath in yoga. I think, it's like a fire breath or a dragon breath or something, a lion's breath. You can do that. Anything that brings vitality back, because all it needs is a small catalyst, and then the energy of vitality that's already there, because you've got that 30% extra, will come in and you'll be able to connect with it immediately and you'll feel it. But if you're feeling a little lethargic as your DNA and all those codes are enacting within you and sort of integrating properly, you might need sort of an activator to get you going. So if you wake up and you had a ton of stuff to do and you're like, oh, I don't have the energy to do it, if you can sit with it and take in and be at peace and not do a lot, that's totally fine too. But if you want to enact a day where you have a lot to do, then you can do that physically with moving your body in a very specific way, and that will bring you back. Also, the other thing is this new way of being in the world, very specific way with this extra energy, means that you have a clearer path ahead of you and knowing what you want. Most of you already know what you want. It's just a matter of getting to the fact of how to get there quickly. Now, it may feel as though for some of you, and again, this is a general reading, but it may feel for some of you that it's taken so long to get places, and or you may have done things sort of behind closed doors. And you may have been working behind closed doors, but not a lot of people know about it. Now, we want to be really clear. There's nothing wrong with wanting success. You've figured out your version of success. You're not relying on it in a way because You know, it's a matter of being out there. What you truly want, pile two, is to be integrated into the world and to be able to use your energy the best way you can to help people. That's all you've ever wanted. Even when you were taking on too many people's energy, that's all you've ever wanted. Again, selfless, egoless in that way. So success for you means being out there in a way, and the most supportive way you can be, a cross section of people, the most people that you can be. Of course, that means success, not staying in your own lane, not doing things on a small level. And you've been working on a large level, but behind closed doors. So you've been working sort of on a large level, but to a small audience. But all it needs is this integration now of what you're going through with your energy. And that energy, that extra 30% gives you that energy, gives you that clarity, gives you that new way of working with the universe, gives you that new vision of the path of, instead of like 5 steps forwards, 2 steps backwards, it's just moving quickly. So once this energy is integrated, you'll be moving at the speed of light. And, you know, just as a reminder, you've done all the work to any of this. You know, you've not done it to the degree and known for it the way that you want it. Or if you are at that point, you'll be moving off in a slightly different direction and integrating that new work into the new stuff. So it's not like you're starting from the beginning, but this new stuff, whatever you're integrating in a new way, will take you to a new plateau. Regardless of where you are, you'll be taken to a new plateau. And this is something that you're ready for. The other thing is that you weren't ready for it before. If you're being really honest with yourself, you may have wished for it, you may have wanted it with your soul, but you weren't really ready for it because you could sense that your energy wasn't there to take it on, or to deal with it, or to work with it. Maybe the extra attention would have made you uncomfortable, but now you're ready for it. That 30%, we're just giving you an idea, it's not literally 30%, but that extra energy is coming in, a significant amount of extra energy that's coming in, creating this really strong, firm foundation for you, for that clarity to move forward. So all the work that you've been doing, either on a smaller scale, but what you've been doing has been huge, or been, you know, behind closed doors, will be coming out and be integrated in the world the way that you want, and you're ready for it. Your energy level is ready for it. You're going to invite it in. So let's get you some more information from Lord Ganesh right now, Lord Ganesha. So we have generosity. Absolutely. Everything that you've done is come from a sense of generosity. What we're asking, what Spirit's saying to you, is that generosity and now is going to be shined on you. It's not that you haven't had lucky periods in your life. You've done some great things. When you've asked for things, they have come in, but you've often blocked a lot of beauty coming into your life because you felt as though deep down maybe you weren't ready for it, or there was a little bit of maybe you didn't feel as though you truly deserved it one way or another. Now, we're not going to go over that because you've worked through that, and that's layered into your profound sense of what success truly means to you, which you've already tweaked. That perception has changed, it's moved, you've integrated that. So all of that needed to shift in order for you to be free and clear, to accept the generosity that Spirit is now absolutely offering to you, that in previous times, or in previous situations, you may have blocked a little bit. You know, and if any of you, again, general message, if this part of the message doesn't sit with you, then that's totally fine. For any of you who are feeling as though there's a little bit of imposter syndrome, you can feel as though you're ready, you can feel as though you're on the verge of something big, but you're like, what if I'm not good enough? First of all, stop comparing yourself. Second of all, we want to remind you, everybody who's ever been successful one way or another deals with imposter syndrome one way or another, and there's no real way to deal with it. You just have to move through it. You just have to go through it, and you just have to do it. And just know that everything that you've done and everything that you're doing in the world is needed by the world. And it's going to help people. End of story. You're not an imposter in that way. You can talk yourself out of it. But the only way to really integrate is to move through it and go through it. So if that's ever stopped you in the past, that's fine. This is all about a divine timeline. You're now on that timeline. But even if it comes up a little bit, not to the degree as it did before, but even if it comes out of nowhere, just honestly grit your teeth and get through it, because it's not true, it's not real. But you know, going through it is the only way that you come out on the other side of it. So let's do one more here. feeling personal transformation, absolutely. Personal transformation, the way that you use your energy and the way that you are in the world, your self-confidence shifting too, when you're not constantly giving away your energy. And in some situations, that energy becomes power. So giving away your power to others who may use it in the way that they want to, but you don't need to give it away anymore. You have that power back. So this personal transformation gives you this new level of confidence that you have, this new confidence of who you are and who you always were, but you didn't have the strength to really hone in on that confidence before. So there's a huge amount of personal transformation that's going on for you right now. I don't want to cover up Lord Ganesha there. Let's put that one there. And a real profound sense of acceptance too, because as you were giving away your power and you wanted everybody to heal, you were never working at 100% capacity. So there were always lots of ups and downs for you, and you may have even blamed your emotionality. Oh, I feel drained now, I feel this, that, and the other. If I weren't so emotional, if I wasn't such an empath, but now that that energy is coming in, it's integrating fully, you can really appreciate what you have and who you are, and the fact that all of that made you who you are, and that's exactly why you're here right now, and you love where you are right now, or you're about to come into that energy. So that's absolutely gorgeous. So this is a personal transformation at a really profound level here. The number also 35. Let's make sure. My bad. Yeah, no, it's 35. I thought it was 55. Wait. No, it is 35, just checking that. Life number 235 might mean something for you, personal transformation. Let's do some numerology also for some extra clarity here. Adventure, absolutely. 55 too. For those of you who have been working angel numbers 555, if you're interested and you're called to, I did an Archangel Metatron recently. You might want to check out that reading pile too, if you haven't already. But angel numbers, if that's been coming to you, letting you know that you're being supported, moving into that really, really strong realm of the adventure, moving forward the way that you want to, with utter confidence, and poo-poo if your mind says, oh my goodness, da 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 da. It doesn't matter. Just let it say it, laugh it off, and move through it. It's nothing to worry about. It's not enough to in any way stop you in your tracks, but this flexibility of moving forward and enjoying your life instead of moving forward in a way that you felt as though you needed to in order to achieve something. There wasn't a lot of leeway before because you only had a certain amount of energy. Now that energy, this expansiveness is in and around you, this flexibility coming out of control, moving into alignment, moving forward swiftly. Like we said, you've been working behind closed doors, have been working on a grand level, on a small scale. That the way in which you've been working in the world does not need to shift. It's just a matter of how that gets out to the world. And who views it and sees it now. So the sense of adventure coming in this, even I know there's a lot of stuff going on right now, but we won't always be here in this, but traveling and moving forward in many different ways. For some of you, it could be moving somewhere for school or moving out of where you are, either in the same town but a new house, or for some of you it could be actually moving out. For some of you it's abroad. There's an opportunity that comes up and you will be moving out there, but there's a sense of adventure. No matter what, there's a sense of adventure coming into your life, and this excitement of not knowing where where you're going to go next, but because there are a lot of opportunities coming in, you'll always choose the right one because you have innate sense of this beautiful security of knowing that your intuition is spot on, so you never need to worry about that. But there's this sort of like kinetic energy of being able to move in any direction that you want. So that's wonderful for you. That's coming in. We also have, regardless of when you choose to click on this video, it is the full moon in Leo today. So we are going to be using this energy. So of course we have to finish with a Queen of the Moon oracle. We've got to use that Queen of the Moon oracle. So let's see what we've got here. Patience, absolutely patience. Now with this, I'd say let's pull one other. We feel as though you've been patient. So action. I was just about to say, I don't know about that card. I don't know about that. Feel as though you've been patient. Feel as though you've come into this energy, and whether you've wanted to be patient or not, you've been sort of forced to be patient one way or another, because this energy's been up and down. You've had to refigurate it, and you've given yourself enough space to get through this. And if you're still in the midst of it, then you're sort of called to slow things down, live in that particular moment. That's where you find true happiness. This is something, the baby steps, loving the baby steps. So you've been patience has been integrated into your realm very recently. So that was just sort of obvious. But really what's coming in is the action. Is the action after the patience. That's really what this reading is about. After the patience is integrated, you've got your energy back. Your energy is integrated. You know who you are. You've got that level of self-confidence. You've tweaked already with the idea of, or the understanding of success and what it means to you. You've made peace with your past. You have the patience in the ideal form of living in that very moment and not skipping ahead and trying to control, see what kind of outcomes are coming in. Really moving out of the sense of control into the sense of alignment, and moving into this action, this adventure of we've got 55 here, we've got another 5, we've got 15 here, angel numbers, seeing the synchronicity, listening to your intuition, which way will I go, and having this really profound excitement in moving into this next level of personal transformation, which allows you to be seen for exactly who you are on your own terms, and pulling back your power and your energy from situations and people that didn't need it, probably didn't even ask for it, didn't need it. And it's coming from the selfless notion again of not wanting to see suffering. That really hurts your soul. But by being out there and doing what you do and integrating into other people's lives with your truth and who you are, and giving the space for other people to be exactly who they are, you will be healing on that level without having to lend them or give them your power anymore. So we've got that action, we've got that adventure. It's very exciting stuff. Pile 2. So that's what we have for you right now. If this resonated in any way, feel free to give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below. We absolutely love having you. And of course, if you are not part of the Unicorn Light Tarot family, hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. There's so much going on. We have unicorn therapy. You can take Intuition and the Unicorn for free. Of course, all other readings. We've got some great readings coming up in very, very soon in the month of February coming in, so you don't want to miss that. We also have the Unicorn School of Light, 2 wonderful readings. One of them is for free. If you want to work with the unicorns for 21 days, that is a great way to do it. That's on the Unicorn School of Light. And feel free to come join us on our Unicorn Facebook group too. So there's many other ways to be in and around this energy and get the support and love you absolutely deserve, you sweet, 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 beautiful, beautiful folks. All right, pile 2, you stay safe and sane and enjoy this new beginning, this transformational new beginning. You absolutely deserve it. Until we meet again. Bye-bye. Okay, my lovelies, if you chose pile 3 last, but very much not least, these are your messages from Spirit. What it is that you need to know right now in this very moment. Those are the messages that will be relayed to you through Spirit. And of course, don't forget, we have our healing candle activation any way that you want to use it. So we're starting off with our Unicorn Tarot, and then we will be moving off. We've got some other oracle cards to clarify as we move forward. But let's just start with your messages. Queen of Rods, the Queen of Wands, wonderful. And the Two of Rods, the 2 pair of, sorry, I was just so many things coming in right now. Absolutely wonderful. So, as we always say, there's usually a thread between 1, 2, and 3 of all the piles. And of course, we are working with collective energies. There's usually some sort of collective energy that's going on when we read this. But this is definitely coming into your own. But it's also this quirkiness of you. Oh my goodness, you're so cute. Pile 3, you have this uniqueness to you. You have this real quirkiness to you. And it's just this, for some of you say, what is that saying? You beat to your own drummer. I think that's the saying. If it isn't, forgive me for butchering that. But you also have this idea of magic and beauty. You've dumbed that down just a little bit, pile 3, in order to sort of fit in. There's always, you've carried that sense of magic and power. And some people have some people have definitely been in and around it and sensed it from you, and they could have been quite taken back by it. Some people could be find you quite mysterious in that way and find you very intriguing, and some people could find you um, downright intimidating. And that's really because you have that sense, that aura of sort of magic and mystery and power to you. But you dumbed it down, and it came out in different ways. So you weren't fully 100% behind it. You hadn't fully accepted it and pulled it right into your soul. So you got a myriad of different sort of people and reactions from people. And of course, it was really nice when people found you mysterious. And you could sense that you had an aura of sort of mystery about you, but you could have been quite hmm by it. Oh, I wonder what's going on. This is quite intriguing. I quite like this. And of course, it's not very nice when people project upon you, because they're quite afraid of your power, because they sense your power and also your mysticism. The sort of the deep power that you have in the mystical sense or the occult sense intimidates people, because it really cannot be explained. um, it can be understood by others who also share the same sort of framework, but it can't be really explained by people who don't understand it or not willing to understand it, and some people who are downright fearful of it. So if you encountered people like that, you could have had some quite extreme. Again, these are general readings, so let's not hope this is for all of you, but you could have had some really extreme reactions from people. But what's coming into you is coming into your own power, but coming into your own sense of magic. Now, that's sort of been a theme of pulling in your magic and having that integrate, and to have that, and then have that power and that magic kind of thrusted into the world on your own terms. But this is a little bit different, Pal 3. This is the whimsy of it. This is you working in different realms, and just like, this is accepting sort of this like inner child aspect, this sort of woo woo fairiness, but it's not woo woo at all. For you, there might be an aspect of your personality that's like, oh, this is a little bit woo woo. This isn't me. We want to ask you to avoid saying things like this isn't me or this is woo woo and putting it in a category. Now, we'll put it in perspective for you. We know why we think, why you believe it's woo woo. You don't really believe it, but you're wondering how it's going to be taken from the external world, because we've already gone into it. You haven't always been given the benefit of the doubt. People have treated you a certain way. They didn't think you were woo woo, though. They sensed the power in you and they were intimidated by it. So you've dumbed it down a little bit. And also, there's a real practical side to you. When you do things, you go through things, you feel them, you go through the end of it. You've got the Scorpio, like, take everything apart. You might even be Scorpio, have Scorpio in your chart, really doesn't matter. But there's nothing woo woo about you, but at the same time, you have you have these intense connections to other realms. You don't really work on the earth realm. You've never really worked on the earth realm that well, one way or another, and that's why a lot of you aren't physically grounded. So you might have a lot of air or water in your chart. Some of you may not have a lot of grounding in your chart, and even if you do, you might be more earthy than grounded. Or the other side of it is you could be very grounded, so grounded that anything that's woo woo, considered quote unquote woo woo, you don't really want to entertain. But that is no consequence anymore, because who you are, you've got a lot of elemental air energy around you. Some of you actually might be incarnated elementals. I just started watching this. I'm only 10 minutes into it. I can't tell you if it's good or not. I think it's like number 1 or 2 on Netflix. What I can tell you, though, is on a personal level, I love whoever did the set design. Oh my goodness, they can design my new house. I would love that. But it's all about fairies, elementals. Get to the point. So it's all about fairies and elementals and working in different realms. And it's a magical boarding school. I've forgotten what it's called. Anyway, it's really easy to find. I think it's either 1 or 2 on Netflix. So it's that sort of thing where a fairy incarnated, and again, it sounds a little woo-woo, right? But either that, or you have a lot of elemental energy around you. The other thing that's happened is, so this absolutely sort of like opening, not Pandora's box, because we all know what happened there and there was hope at the bottom, but it's almost like you've opened up this box and everything's flying out now and you can't get everything back in, which is fine, and it's great because all your uniqueness is coming out now. But it's absolutely beautiful in that way, because it's almost like you've been healing your inner child one way or another. Some of you may have really focused on healing the inner child, and some of you may have just been working on healing yourself and the inner child. The triggerings of the inner child has really been helped because you're working at a core level. However you attributed your healing, your inner child is absolutely itching to get out now. So for those of you who are like, yeah, let's do this, I'm going to let my quirkiness out, I'm going to let my uniqueness out, this is where my power is, I don't care, I believe in unicorns. And unicorns are real. They really are. They work on a different realm, but they're absolutely real. And all of that stuff. But it's just, whereas before you may have always believed in it. It's not like one day you wake up and go, oh wow, but it's about the level of embracing it and not being sorry for it anymore. And again, if you're thinking, any kind of woo-woo, just that real sort of childlike naivety of just really believing, bringing you up to the next level and integrating into your personal power, which is absolutely gorgeous. Now, you always had a way to do this. You've always had the ability to do this, but you've held yourself back because the inner child, your inner child needed to be healed. But also, again, the reaction from the world, you always wanted to keep yourself a little bit safe. So you kept those aspects of yourself. Or if people actually come back to your house and look at your bookcase, it might be 13 books on fairies, so you keep it kind of behind closed doors a little bit, and people might know you for it a little bit. Absolutely. So, and you may not have hidden it in many ways to people who know you and has accepted you for who you are. You may not have hidden it in the way that you think you may have. So when you sort of come out of the spiritual closet, as it were, well, you're not really doing that. When you come out of the fairy closet, as it were, that has many different connotations, but we're talking about elemental fairies right now, and all of it's wonderful. When you come out of any kind of closet that you want and say, this is me, yes, I'm a little bit quirky, I'm a little bit this, that, and the other, and I'm not dumbing that down anymore. It may not be so much of a surprise to some people as you think it will be, and they will love it. They will absolutely love it. And the people who were intimidated by you or may have treated you as a little woo-woo before, they've either fallen away and they're not in your life anymore, or they'll be quite stunned by what's going on, and they'll be quite enamored by it, actually, because what they really needed to do, they needed to work on their part of accepting, and they had shut down their inner child too in order for protection. But this is really coming into you. So this is coming back to you. So really enjoy this real light, beautiful, joyous energy of not just working with and just say, oh yeah, I love this, I love fairies, I love this, but working with that magic, working with that elemental magic, and taking your magic to the next height. Now, you do have a practical aspect to yourself. You absolutely do. So we have a couple of suggestions for you. You could work with elemental energies, any energy that you want, really, unicorn energy, and you can work with it and ask them for specific signs of what it is that you want to see, and watch as those specific signs come in and your life changes. It's okay to test them. It's absolutely okay to test them. A part of your mind might be saying, yeah, okay, no, I do believe intrinsically, but but leveling up and allowing your power to be incorporated into such a degree is such a brand new thing for you. To this, I mean, you're literally opening up completely into this new way of being. Regardless of quote unquote the consequences, which there aren't any, but your mind might be trying to protect you from that. So feel free to test them, and with the universe, with the unicorns, whatever you want, and then you can oh, there is a lot of power there, oh my goodness, this happened, record it too, let everybody know. Absolutely, it's you're gonna be very unapologetic about what you believe in, who you believe in, and to the degree that you believe in it. Again, these are not brand new for most of you. These are general readings, but for most of you, you've always had an inclination. You've always really believed. Whether you've kept yourself back, you've never really fully gone down that path, or you've gone down that path, but now you're galloping down it. To what degree? There shouldn't be a real eye opener for you in that way. But the way in which you will be working with your power and the way in which you will be allowing your quirkiness, it's almost like this relief of just being yourself, like not having to fold the edges over, um, and hide aspects of yourself in order to for people not to think that you are weird. For some of you, it's so, again, general reading. Some of you may have even been bullied, or something's happened because people thought you were weird, or just sensed that you were a little bit odd or something, ostracized in some way, or you just felt that way anyway, or people made you feel that way. Again, this is all your past, but there's many different reasons why you would have shut things down to a certain degree, or you wanted to conform in a certain degree, but that is all out of the window. So you have this really beautiful divine feminine energy, which you've been working on healing too, which is balancing out with the divine masculine energy. So you've got this perfect, gorgeous sense of like receptivity with the gorgeousness of the action of moving forward, of saying, I don't need that, I don't need your opinion right now. And it's okay to say that. Not everybody's opinion is valuable. Now, when I was in graduate school, I used to have a professor that would say, don't ask everybody's opinion, when you're writing, pick the people that get your work. Generally speaking, you get their work too. Work with an intimate group of people who really understand. Listen to everything that they say, but don't open it up generally. You're just going to get confused. So it's like, the people that you're in and around now will get you and whatever. And it's not that you should never listen to anything. I listen to all feedback, actually. I always do, and I take it in, but not all of it is relevant. So now it's really about choosing the people that in and around you see you on your own terms, and just not being ashamed or dumbing yourself down in any way. That's been a theme from really the end of last year, and it's going to be a theme all the way through 2021 as we go into 2022. But this is happening at an accelerated rate for you, and at a really exciting rate, that's skipping and allowing your inner child to really sort of take over in a way, and in integrating in such a way that it just brings pure pleasure and joy. And of course, once you start working and gathering your power from these other realms, these elementals, so much can happen, because the essence, everybody feels it. The energy of the earth realm is so heavy, but when you start working with other realms, of course, there's so many other realms. I feel like every day something's being proved in the outer skirts of like. NASA's proving this with energy, and there's life on this, and we're coming into this of getting physical proof. But we already know this, and you absolutely know this. You know this in every aspect, every cell of your body. So really embracing that and just letting yourself become this sort of lighter version, and really fun version of self. You have that fun already, but being that way all of the time. And again, this balance of receptivity. Now, you have that naivety before. People had taken advantage of, and that's another reason why you didn't consider it woo woo, but you were worried about the woo woo because you didn't want to go off. You didn't feel grounded, and it didn't always. The divine feminine kind of got you not into trouble. Your intuition never gets you into trouble, but the naivety put you into situations where you may have gotten hurt. But that divine feminine with the divine masculine coming in now, is that you're protected now, whereas before you had to go out of your way to protect, and that caused you to dumb aspects of yourself down. You don't need to do any of that anymore, because divinely aligned moving forward, divine masculine knows when to take the action, knows when to protect, knows when to allow in the receptivity and this beautiful energy of where you'll be working, but also knows when to have the boundaries, and knows what to do, and when to do it. And this really allows you to move into a new plateau of how you work in the world. So we have Lord Ganesha here. This is really, really exciting for you. This is probably a message for just some of you, but some of you might even be writing children's books. And if you, wanted to always write children's books and knew that you could, but never really got to the finishing aspect of reading it, of writing them, we wouldn't be surprised at all if you just finished that book and an entire series, because now that your inner child is engaged in this sort of not brand new way, but in this new level of authority, right? Sort of providing aspects of your magic. That's where like your imagination really takes hold, and your confidence to put this out there. So yeah, so for those of you who write children's books, um, this could be a great time for you. We got personal transformation. Was it pile two? We got it again. It's obviously you're going through a personal transformation, but this is a personal transformation of the inner child, really, which is absolutely gorgeous. Um, this we already know. So let's pick out another card for you. All right, two came out the same time. So far be it from me. Inner knowing and steadfastness, absolutely. So we just talked about, this is beautiful. We just talked about the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the inner knowing, which is the divine feminine, directly with the steadfastness of the divine masculine, when to move forward with the action, the protection, but allowing in the receptivity of knowing in what direction to move forward. If we're out of alignment, we often take action that takes us to places we don't need to be, or it's too much action. It takes us off, and or there's not enough action, or if inner knowing, if we don't have that receptivity, we're just firing sparks, but nothing ever takes off. So this is something that you're coming into. Your personal transformation is really coming into this real balance of that inner knowing, and then knowing how to move forward on that path to make that inner knowing into a tangible prospect for you quickly and effortlessly. This is something that you didn't previously have before, and it's coming in the way that you want it, with this uniqueness and quirkiness and this beauty of who you are. You have this gorgeousness to you that you've dumbed down a little bit. Or you've kept it for certain people, and this is exactly what the world needs to be seen. And on a larger sort of global level, you'll give people permission to completely be themselves, and just be out there and do whatever it is that you want to do. Yeah, I mean, there'll always be people who are criticizing. 9 times out of 10, 9.5, 10 out of 10, they're jealous. Let them hate. Doesn't matter. It's just like people are going to wish that they are you, whether they say it to your face or not. Just go be you, go be yourself. That's the only thing that you can really do to bring in pure, true happiness in this lifetime. And this is exactly where you're at. So we've got the numerology deck here. So let's get you some final messages. And what do we have here? Personal growth, absolutely. Feel as though with this reading, this is just reiterating everything that we said. Also, 7, we've got the 7 chakras. Well, there's many other chakras, but again, alignment, the purple here, this new level of alignment coming in, which is very much focused on the alignment of the divine masculine, divine feminine, setting free that beautiful imagination to a brand new level of degree of your inner child there, personal growth. So let's see if we can get the Queen of the Moon Oracle. As I said in the other readings, even though whenever this is a timeless reading, but it is also the full moon in Leo today, so we are working with that energy today with spirits. So, but it really doesn't matter when you click on this video. But we had to choose the Queen of the Moon Oracle on a full moon. It just seemed applicable. Okay, so you've got realization. Again, number 3, there's one other message coming out. I feel as though action, absolutely. We're talking about the action. I believe this came out in pile 2 too. So the realization of action also. A lot of why you haven't moved forward in the way that you wanted to move forward to before is because you didn't have the energy to move forward in the way that you wanted to. So you've often held yourself back a little bit. And again, there's a divine timing element to that. You knew that timing is intrinsically man-made, and you knew that when you had all your ducks in a row, as it were, you would be able to move forward in the speed of light. So you never really worried about pulling yourself back from this, that, and the other. It was all about it was all about the divine timing for you. Now you're on that path. You know that the divine timing, you're ready for that action to move forward. But you wanted to move forward in the way that you wanted to move forward. You wanted to move forward in the complete way that you wanted to move forward. You didn't want to achieve everything on this feat of only an aspect of you as being seen by the world, and then being trapped in this sort of version quote unquote success, because what is success if you can't truly be yourself? So this has always been something that you wanted to put forward, and then you knew when you became yourself and you knew who you were, that realization would click in, would activate, and you could speed ahead being and moving forward, making the decisions and being exactly who you were. So this was a divine timing aspect for you, Pal 3. You wanted to take baby steps. You wanted to do this on your own way. So when you clicked in and you could accept every aspect of your soul and really integrate that quirkiness and that beauty, and that seeing outside and working outside of the box per se is absolutely what's needed, because what we're seeing is we're seeing a crumbling of the external world, of these systems that didn't really like the quirky that much, accepted certain aspects of quirky, but there wasn't enough of it in the universe, in society. So it's, you know, you always got a sense that if you wanted to play the game, you were going to have to dumb yourself down. So this is a matter of the world crumbling, you doing things on your own terms. So now you can move forward with the speed of light, in the action, with the action behind you, that divine masculine energy behind you, on your own terms completely. You couldn't have had those on your own terms before, not really. Now, you also know intrinsically what it's like to sort of achieve something and then realize that you've not shown your audience or not shown exactly who you are, and then be a little bit afraid of showing people exactly aspects of yourself. Will I be able to keep this popularity, this, that, and the other? So it's really important for you to have all your ducks in a row, knowing exactly who you are. So as you move forward with integrity. Well, you always had integrity, but move forward with exactly who you are. And the people who are not attracted to your energy, you know, that's it. But instead of moving forward and having a specific kind of energy put out there, and then for those people to be a little bit put off by the quirkiness coming in later. So you did exactly what you needed to do. You've realized that. So for those of you who are sitting there going, I don't know why this has taken so long, this, that, and the other, this is what you had to do. And this was exactly the right way to approach this. You're doing this at a deep core level. You're healing at a deep core level. Yeah, most of you are late bloomers anyway, regardless of age. You just are. But you knew that before you came down. You're doing a good job of this, a very, very thorough job. You're not rushing through it. But again, once this is all done, you've been working on the sidelines. You can forge ahead like a flash in the pan. That, not even a saying, I don't even know what that came from. You can move ahead, you know, like a bolt of lightning, and achieve what you want, because you're in line with exactly who you are. So enjoy that inner child and let that quirkiness, that, what is it, that let your freak flag fly. But that's exactly who you are, and from that perspective, you're going to be coming up with some beautiful anecdotes of being able to live in this world, and so many things, you know, your sense of humor. It's going to be so appealing to so many people. It's exactly what we need right now. So very exciting stuff for you, Paul 3. I hope that, we really, really hope that resonated with you. And if it did, feel free to give us a thumbs up, and do let us know in the comments below if that resonated. We love hearing from you. And of course, subscribe and hit that bell icon if you're not already here at Unicorn Light Tarot. We have so many great things going on. We have so many different courses and different things going on. We have the unicorn therapy for activation and meditations through the chakras. We've already mentioned the chakras. We have intuition and the oracle. Encouraging you to make your own oracle deck. You can do it, absolutely. And come join us too, either on Instagram or Facebook. We have a beautiful unicorn Facebook group. And of course, we have the Unicorn School of Light. We have two courses up there currently. One of them is working with the unicorns for 21 days. Get that magic back if you feel like. We also have a Beyond Fear 3-day course put up there for 2022. To help you through, or just work with any kind of fear that you might have. It's completely free. It's 3 days. If you feel as though it might help you, please go check that out. In any way, there are many different resources to work with energy, work with source energy, and get that love and support that you absolutely deserve. So go be you, you elemental, quirky little thing, you. Pal 3, stay safe and sane until we meet again. Bye-bye.